All right, gang, let's dive right into it. We got a lot to cover today. Welcome to another edition of Webinar Wednesday, tips to help grow your online community. It's really great to be with everyone here today. It is a special webinar. It is the last Webinar Wednesday of 2020. Many of you have joined most of the webinars, and that's really great. And see a lot of new names and faces out there here today. So welcome. If this is your first time joining us, it's great to have you. I am Jason there on the left, and we're lucky to be joined by David Rocklin, the digital strategist here at Brilliant Directories. And I always want to thank you, David, for really taking the time to help us set up these webinars. I know that we're streaming on YouTube Live right now as well, and for joining us today too.
That's right. Hey, everybody. Great to be with you for the last webinar of the year. It's been quite a year, but it's been great getting to do these webinars with everybody for another year every other week. And we're looking forward to doing even more next year.
And I always like to remind everyone, you can take a minute and do it right now. If you're not already part of our Facebook group, head on over to brilliantdirectories.com/Facebook. It's a great way to keep in touch in between Webinar Wednesdays. Everyone is welcome. Just go to that link and click on the blue join button, and we will see you there. And I always like to remind and refresh everyone, especially those of you joining us for the first time today, what we hope to achieve with the Webinar Wednesdays. We really want to try and help you leverage some of the built-in features to help you grow your online communities faster. Brilliant Directories does agile development. We're constantly pushing new updates based on the needs of the community. So it's important to, number one, do these webinars to kind of highlight the most important ones, but also educate you guys, the community, on how you can utilize these to better manage your membership community. So we do touch on things related to how to increase traffic, converting visitors to members. One of my favorites, how to improve your website's navigation. A good workflow for your users will result in more conversions and signups and registration. So if you have questions on these topics or any topics about your websites, we're going to try to get to as many questions as we can in just a short bit. And we do have a small handful of BD Lab updates to share. This has been one of the biggest years for individual features and updates that we've pushed into the platforms. I do want to thank everyone here. It is because of your feedback and your suggestions and even your support tickets and helping us really push the software to the edge that makes it improve over time. So I'm just going to take a minute to go through the list right here. And then we have a great tip of the week that David's put together for us on how to reduce friction during the membership sign-up process. So first one here, now you do have the ability to send emails if you're moderating posts with the post moderation add-on. So members create a post like an event or job or article. If you have that setting to that it requires the admin's moderation, the post will be in a pending status in the admin area, waiting for you to manually approve it. Let's go there and actually see some posts that are waiting for approval. So this is a sample site we have here, and I'll go to Manage Posts. And I see here that I do have a handful of community articles that are pending the admin's approval. So now what happens, you can do this in bulk, or you can manually, if you're going to set them to published, I'll just do it in bulk, and you set it to published and apply, you're going to get a pop-up here, and it's going to ask you if you want to notify member about the post approval. So this will send an email to all the members with a link to the post that has been approved. So if you don't want to notify the members and you just want to quietly approve these posts, and they'll be public on the site, you can just set it to no. But if you do want to inform your members that their previously pending post is now live and published, go ahead and send this to yes, and it will send an email to them. Now, let me show you what email is being sent. You do have the ability to make some small modifications to that template. If you go to your email template section, we can do a quick filter for post. And here we go. It's this first one, post approved by admin. Let's take a look at the preview here. So it's very simple. Your post has been approved. It's going to fill in the user's name, and it says, we'd like to inform you that one of your pending posts has been approved and published, click the link below to view the post. And of course, that will link to the post that's been approved. So you can keep it like this. We've kept it pretty boilerplate and straightforward. If you'd like to add a signature or other calls to action to this email template, you can certainly do so. But now you have the ability to inform your members when their posts have been approved. That should come in pretty handy. This next one here is for the designers and the developers out there. Many times when you're trying to create a landing page, you might see conflicts because the Brilliant Directories CSS style sheets are adding rules that maybe you don't want added to the page. So right now there are now two settings, one on the page level and one on the site-wide level, where you can totally disable the CSS style sheets that load with Brilliant Directories. Let me show you where those are. So let's take a look at the page level first. If you go to the web page builder, and let's use the home page as an example. Let's visit this sample site here. All right, we see a normal Brilliant Directories home page here. Let's edit this home page. And where this setting is actually in the display options here in the tab. And right now it's the last setting there. So disable default CSS style sheets. So I'll go ahead and save the changes. So again, this is more for our designers and developers there. Maybe you're trying to use another template to create a landing page or apply it to your site. This way you don't have conflicts and need to fight or create overlaying rules that come with default BD sites. So now I'll just open this in a new tab. And we can see all the pretty styles that make the page look the way it look are effectively gone here. It's just loading basically the HTML. So that is now available. So you have this on the page level. And if you wanted to do this site-wide, maybe you're coding your own templates and themes from scratch, whatever it might be, you can head on over to Developer Tools. Sorry about that. You want to go to Advanced Settings. And you could just search for Style Sheet. It should be the only one here. Yep, disable default CSS style sheet. So if you do that, you don't have to do it on the page level. It will be site-wide. You just do it once here and you won't have any default BD CSS throughout your site. Again, probably only for designers and developers who would want to take advantage of this feature, but very powerful for you guys who are using it. This next one is a fun one. You can now add icons also in the page builder section. Let me show you what we've done here for you. If you go to the web page builder, and we'll do a new page in this case, you'll see this star here. And currently there are 24 icons here, checks, X's, stars, arrows, and a few others. And what's really nice about these, and I'll just add a few here, and what's special about these as opposed to some other icons is these are web browser friendly, so that they will work across basically all browsers. And what you can do is you can actually apply colors to them. So we'll make the check mark green and we'll make the font size a bit larger. And we'll do something with the X, make that red of course, and increase the font size. And we have a star here, so maybe we want to do yellow for the star, and we'll increase the font size. So, you can add accompanying text to it. You can make them different sizes than the text and things like that. Where I see the main value of this is, sure, you can have them stand alone. Maybe they want to start a sentence or something like that. But what I think a really good value is when you use a bullet list. So when you have a bullet list, you can do, let's just do this, 1, 2, 3, and 4. When you have a bullet list, you see the bullet there. You can choose the default, so that's filled in circles, or you can do circles that just have the border around them. You can do discs, which are basically the same, or you can do squares, which would do square bullets. What you can also do is no bullet. And when you do no bullet, it's still a bullet list, so it's going to line up correctly. But what you can do that's really cool is maybe you want to add one of these icons here, And let's just use the check mark and increase the font size. So maybe you're creating some points and you want to put the check mark there. So just some extra spaces here. Or maybe you're creating a what's included list and you want to just put something that put these icons to animate the page a bit more. So in this case, we could put red and this wouldn't be included. So use it how you will. They are available there for you. I like to use them with the no bullet option if you're going to do a bullet list, and it can help keep things nice and organized as well as draw more attention to some important sections of the pages that you're creating. All right, this next one is more of an alert. We've moved the location of both the member reviews and the lead settings. I'll show you where we've moved these to in case you need to edit those. So let's start with the leads. Before, under the leads section, it said manage leads, and then it said lead settings underneath this. We move the lead settings up here. So click on manage leads, and then the lead settings will be in the top right corner here. So that's where lead settings has been moved. Spoiler alert, we are talking about here at BD of removing or renaming this lead section and calling it something to the effect of interactions. And what we may want to put here instead, because really it's just a few things, would be the chat messages, the leads, post comments, and potentially member reviews. We're just thinking, we're surveying and thinking, but this can be an interaction section of how visitors are submitting different things to your site. Call them interactions. So nothing happening just yet, but some things that are brewing here on our end. And for member reviews, you used to edit your member reviews under Edit Post Settings, and you used to come here and edit it just like it was a video or property, but that's not really the best place for it. So now if you go to the member reviews page, you'll see the member review settings button is here. So just a little bit more intuitive on where you can make changes to the review settings. Okay, some things coming down the line, I've mentioned them. You can have photo galleries, like when you're posting a classified or a photo album or a product. You will soon be able to include a YouTube or Vimeo video within the photo slideshow. Those of you who are using the post comments add-on, right now you can show the comments count on the specific posts page. We're working on a setting where you can also display this in the search results. So when you're looking at the post search results, maybe a bunch of articles or job posts or events, you can see how many comments that post has already received right in the search results. The next one here, forced end your staff admin sessions. We've actually been working on it for quite a while. It is up next in the QA list, so that should be released just at the beginning of 2021. We did great with the pre-made content blocks for landing pages, and we're just about ready to release it for email templates, so you could build out newsletters a bit easier. There is something for a compact logo view on mobile. That should save some important real estate. And of course, we're just continuing to make updates day by day. So those are just a few things that are coming down the line. And one last bonus thing I wanted to share with you guys before we jump into the tip of the week. There is a new add-on coming soon. It is a tax and VAT manager. I could show you a quick demo of how it will work. I know of a lot of our international users will appreciate this, and in many cases it is required. Up until now, it did require a customization request for BD to enable this on your sites, but this will be part of the VIP add-ons club and a standalone add-on that anyone could add to their sites. So let me just quickly show you how this works. Let me get it set up here on my end. Let's start with what it'll look like on a checkout page. So this is just a sample site we have it enabled on. So the user will see their subtotal. However, the tax rules are based on location. So you're going to set location-based rules based on the country and or state that someone's credit card billing address may be in. So in this case, we set up rules for Alberta, Canada. So let's select Canada. We can see the order summary is checking for tax rules here. And if I select Alberta, we can see here there's actually a primary and a secondary tax that is now being applied to the total order here of $10. So that total there with just these sample numbers brings the grand total to $11.15. So let me quickly show you where these rules will be in your admin area. You'll have a dedicated page where you can set tax and VAT rules by location. So if we want to create a new tax rule, we can click on this blue button, and this is where you can enter the tax name as it will appear on the front end of the site. So you could do like co-op contribution. Obviously you want to keep it something short there because it's going to be a line item. You can set what countries it would apply to. So if it's everyone in the United States, you don't need to choose states. It would just be a US tax. Maybe you need to charge California tax. You can, of course, put the tax rate here. And there are some countries that charge both a primary and secondary tax level. I just recently learned this. So you can actually choose if this will be a primary or secondary tax for this location. So in this case, United States, California. And that's it. And you can create as many rules as you need for as many locations as you need. So again, if you're in the UK or Canada or Australia and you need to apply tax for a certain province or territory or state, this would be the easiest and best way to do it. And let me show you something else. There is a setting where you can choose if the rules will be exclusive, meaning they'll be added on top of the total, like that $10 turned to $11.15, or they're going to be inclusive, meaning you set the price like $10 and then the taxes will still make the total $10. Let's see how that works here. Oops. Let's refresh this page. Okay, let's do Canada and Alberta. So now it's inclusive, so we can see it adjusts the subtotal to $897. It figures in the taxes and it brings the total to not exceed and lands exactly on $10. So it just depends on how you're marketing a product or service. Maybe you want to say that price includes taxes. The system will automatically do the calculation so that the person doesn't pay more than your listed price. Or if it's exclusive, it will add the tax on top of your listed price. This is coming out soon, but basically you can choose the amount, the country or state where that tax would be applied to, and it is connected to the billing address someone puts for their credit card. So that's what we assume, where we assume they should be taxed. And that's it. It should work right out of the gate, and it should be released mid-January in 2021. So we're just a few weeks away from that.
We do have a great question that Scott sent in about that. He wanted to know if tax on the front end of the checkout page is a text label, or if there's a way to change that to something like marketing co-op contribution instead of tax.
Beautiful. Even better, per rule, you can choose what the name is going to be. I wish I can get in here to edit it, but you can, what you choose here for the nickname is what's going to show here. So if you want to write co-op or whatever it represents, it's not just one text label, it's per tax rule. So you can just choose what it's going to say on the front end here.
Perfect.
Okay, that's a good question there. All right, yeah, I'm sure we'll get more questions about this. We posted it in the Facebook group, and as soon as I can show a snapshot of what the settings look like, I'll also post that in the Facebook group. Now, David, that's actually a pretty good segue, talking about member signups and how they're built. The tip of the week today is ways to reduce friction and decision fatigue. And David, when you say this, you're referring to when members are signing up to a site, correct?
That's correct. We'll be talking about ways to reduce that friction and basically get members signed up a little quicker and simplify their decision-making process for them. A lot of times, we hear about abandoned checkouts or abandoned shopping carts for e-commerce sites. It's a similar concept on membership directories, but obviously because we don't have products that people are checking out with, we have membership plans. We want to make that process, that sign-up process, as easy and smooth as possible. So that's what we'll dive into a little bit here. So first we'll talk about what friction is and what decision fatigue is. So friction can lead to decision fatigue. Essentially, it's the difficulty that's added to the members sign up process on our websites. And that friction, that difficulty can lead to decision fatigue, and at the extreme, it can lead people away from our site and end up not signing up, which is obviously what we want to avoid. So some of the things that can go into this are if we have a sign up page that's difficult to find, if we're not making the link to the sign up page really apparent on our site, if our sign up page has way too much information, if it's really difficult to digest and understand, if there's a lot of verbiage on it, it's easy for people to kind of get lost in the weeds there. Another pitfall that some people fall into is if we're offering too many membership plans. We think we're doing our potential members a service by offering them a bunch of different options that they can choose from, trying to cater to everybody. But when we offer all those options, it's like when you go to a restaurant, you have a massive menu with maybe 100 different dishes. That just makes it even more difficult for us to choose what we want. So we really want to narrow that down. And then another one might be if we require more than just an email address and a password for people to register. When people are signing up, we really want to get all that essential information from them right away. But what we really want to do is just get our foot in the door, let them sign up and register with their email address, their password, get that account created, and then we can move forward with asking for that additional info. So this is all stuff that we'll get into more detail with in this presentation. But generally, we want to make the sign-up process as easy as possible, and we want to avoid that paradox of choice, which is when we offer too many choices, people might end up not actually making that decision. So we've already convinced them to join at this point. They're on our site, they like what they see, they want to sign up, so we don't want to make it complicated for them. Offer 3 membership plans at most. We've talked about this in quite a few previous webinars, but this goes back to that restaurant menu analogy where we don't want to offer too many choices for them where it ends up just becoming confusing and overwhelming. Obviously, this will depend on the industry and the niche that your website's targeting, but generally 3 membership plans will generally be good enough for most industries and target demos. So this is really where that decision fatigue can set in, and we want to make that decision process for these prospective members really a no-brainer. The fewer options that we're providing them, the faster they can make that decision and sign up. This is a big point that it's really easy to forget about, and we really try to reiterate this in a lot of the presentations we do regarding the sign up and the registration page, is to only advertise the most important features that we're offering. When we're providing a membership plan, oftentimes we're giving them a lot of functionality, but we really want to hone in on what specifics of the membership plan they're really signing up for. What makes it stand out from what other websites are offering or what the other membership plans that we're offering have. So we don't want to let these prospective members get bogged down in the unnecessary details. This is where our sign-up page can really get pretty long and confusing and overwhelming. So we really want to narrow it down to the important features that people are really signing up for and that they want and need, and we want to make those features apparent, whereas the other ones we might not need to really shine a spotlight on at this point. And number 2, simple and fast registration form. So the goal here is to allow members to register as fast as possible. Again, this isn't necessarily where they're filling out all the information for that's going to be going on their profile. It's just creating that member account. So we really want to keep that default registration form. For the free membership accounts, that's all it asks for is an email and a password, and obviously a confirmation for both of those fields. But that's all the information we're initially asking for. On a paid membership plan, we will have those additional form fields for collecting that form of payment, credit card, debit card information. But generally, we don't want to add any other fields to these 2 sign-up forms. We just want to, again, get our foot in the door, get that account registered, and then we can move forward with asking for additional information. So again, reduce that friction, get our foot in the door. We already have them hooked We don't want to make this process any more difficult or any more time consuming than it has to be. We want to get that member account created.
So just to backtrack, probably most of us are going to have different membership plans. Some of us don't. We just have that one for the initial registration. But when you do offer multiple membership plans, again, as David was mentioning, to keep these pages short and direct, we really want to get them to these registration pages as quickly as possible. Once they've made a decision that, okay, I want to register, you want to help facilitate that as smoothly as possible. So our ultimate goal is to get them to this page, but only after we know that they've seen a few assets that are going to motivate them to want to say, okay, I want to fill out this form and I want to continue with the process. Let's see what's behind the door. So really the goal is to get them to this page as quickly as possible, but we're assuming that we've already convinced them to move along with the sign up process, and we want to make this process as smooth as possible. So again, minimum input fields just to get that email and account registered on the site.
That's right. And if we really want to take this a step further, we do have a previous tip of the week where we talked about adding confidence boosters to the checkout pages. So if you want to dive into that, we'll go ahead and I'll share the link in the chat here. So if you want to take a look at that, you're more than welcome to. But that's a good way. Again, we don't want to add any additional new information that might complicate the sign-up process because we already have them. This just might be where you want to add maybe 1 or 2 extra confidence boosters, maybe a testimonial, just to really reinforce the fact that they're making the right decision signing up. And the next tip, faster signups with Facebook and Google. So this isn't necessary. This is just something that might make the lives of your members a little bit easier. Again, our goal here is to reduce that friction and speed up this sign-up process. So the one-click social login add-on, it provides that quick and easy registration process for users by giving them the ability to register with their Facebook account or their Google account. And oftentimes we're already logged into either, if we have one of those accounts or both, we're already logged into them on our computers anyway. So when somebody comes to your registration page, they can click one of those buttons, whichever one they want to register with, and your website will automatically capture that person's first name, last name, and their email address. And then when they come back to your site in the future, when they go to log in, they can just click login with Facebook or Google, whichever they registered with, and they can log in really easily that way. So again, not necessary, but it would speed up that registration process. And if you are part of the VIP add-ons club, you do already have this add-on. So if it's not activated, if you're not using it, you might want to consider turning that on. And the next tip is to ask for the bare minimum of information. When a new member signs up, that's great. We have their email address at the very least, but we still need them to complete their profile, especially if they're registering for a membership plan that will be publicly listed on your site. We need them to add in that additional information into their profile, about their business, about their practice, all that other information so that they can get found on your site, and then also so that it benefits your site in terms of the profile page being listed in search results and everything like that. So once we have the new member registered on our site, we don't want them to get that form fatigue and end up abandoning their account, because at this point, especially if it's a free account, all they've done is they've registered. So they wouldn't be necessarily losing anything if they saw a long form, say, with a couple dozen questions, fields that you want them to fill out and say, oh, this isn't really worth my time. I'll just delete my account, or I'll just abandon it and forget about it. That's not what we want to happen. So one way to go around this is, if you do need to ask for a lot of information from your members, which again, in certain industries could be totally necessary, what you might want to do then is only make the absolutely necessary information required fields. So this way we still are asking for all this information that we may need, but we're not preventing the member's profile from getting complete and listed if they don't want to take the time to submit all those form fields immediately. Maybe they'll come back later in the day when they have some extra free time, or the following day, and add that additional information to their profile. In the welcome email or in a follow-up email, you can always remind them to make sure that their profile is completed and that all the forms are filled out. But an easy way to still ask for a lot of information, but not necessarily give our new members form fatigue, is to not make all those fields required.
And what's important is, when somebody is signing up to a site, they're making a commitment, they're making an investment in their time, and also emotionally they're getting invested in the site. And one of the best ways to do that is to give them those small wins that aren't so daunting. So the shorter some of these forms are that they're filling out, and the easier the process is, we are actually inherently giving them small wins, which boost their emotional confidence to continue using the site because it appears that it's easy to use. They're having, again, the success in completing the different steps. And what's even cooler, and I'm going to get out of this slide real quick, David, is maybe, and just to, it's a little bit of extra work, but you can have different fields that different membership plans fill out. Let me find this article here. Here we go. How to customize member profile form fields for your target market, and actually based on the membership level. So maybe the basic members, not only do they not see certain fields, but they don't get to fill out additional information that may be public on their profile. So maybe it's a business, but you really don't even let them fill in important stuff that maybe premium members get to fill in. So you want them to upgrade in order to fill out those fields. So your basic or free member signups, yeah, they actually can only fill out basic and free information. And if they want to add and decorate their profiles more, then have them opt in to upgrade their plan to get that more decorated profile by being able to add more information to their listings. So bare minimum for initial and basic signups is a great idea, and then make it a positive thing that they can upgrade. And when they upgrade, they'll be able to, again, decorate their profile with valuable data that potential visitors might want to see or learn about that specific business.
Excellent. And throwing a curveball at you, sometimes this friction, generally we do want to avoid it, but sometimes it might be something that we want to embrace. Not all the time, but sometimes. So some of the reasons why it may be good to actually embrace a little bit of friction in the sign-up process is that it has the potential to pre-qualify our users and our members. If we have maybe an exclusive membership site or one that has a really specific niche or target industry, target demographic, we might want to really make sure that the members that we're accepting meet certain criteria. And so if we add that friction and don't make it quite as easy for people to sign up on their own, or at the very least get publicly listed on your site on their own, then that can make it easier for us to pre-qualify those members before they're publicly viewable on our sites. It also, by doing that, can maintain a higher level of quality within our community. Again, this kind of depends on whether you're going after quality over quantity or quantity over quality in terms of our members. It really just depends on what your goals are with your membership site and your community as a whole. But another reason why we may want to embrace friction in the sign-up process is that it has the potential, if there's not too much of it, just a little bit, to add a little bit of red tape, which can give the feeling of exclusivity. So this plays into that first one a little bit, that it pre-qualifies users. And when something's exclusive, it's a little bit more difficult to gain entry to. That can make it a little bit more interesting, a little bit more enticing for some people who may be already interested in joining. Now, I think it's important to clarify that in this scenario, we don't mean friction in the sense that it's actually difficult to sign up. People can't find your registration link, or you're providing them with forms with dozens of fields that they need to fill out. In this scenario, that red tape, that friction is more in line of maybe going through a vetting process or making sure that they meet certain criteria before we approve their listing. Things like that, which truly do make it feel a little bit more exclusive, and that we really do care about the quality and the types of members that are registered in our community and that are publicly viewable on our websites. And then the final one is that this can get users invested both emotionally as well as with their time in terms of what they're committing in order to create their account on your site and be registered. And so if they're investing this emotional energy and this time up front, then we already know that they're interested and they're probably committed and they've already made this kind of investment up front, then they're more than likely to end up paying for a premium membership in the end. So again, we don't always want to introduce friction into the sign-up process, but depending on what our goals are, it may be beneficial at times to strategically introduce a little bit of friction or red tape into the sign-up process.
Awesome. This was a great bonus slide here, David. Thanks for it's good to highlight this because it's good to note that, again, in some industries, based what industry standards are, what the expectation is, you may want to create that friction. And it could be simple as request to join our site form. So they fill out a form requesting to join the site. Then you send them like another application form, tell us about yourself. But now you're kind of reeling them in, and then after they tell you about themselves, maybe through a whatever number of input field form that you send them, then you tell them if they've been approved or not, and the pricing plans on how to join, because now that you're taking them through the hoops, and again, as David mentioned here, you're getting them both emotionally invested and with their time as well. So something to consider. A little more high touch doing that method where you're going to manually approve every sign up. But with that, we've covered this in previous webinars, you can actually charge a slightly higher price point for your membership plan because, again, you're a little bit more hands-on, you're curating the community a bit more, and people will pay a premium for that type of behavior within a community. All right, we can now take some questions. Milorad, if I pronounced that correctly.
How are you guys?
Excellent.
I just came a little late to this webinar. Sorry I missed your email. I did have a few questions. I have a couple of directories going.
Okay.
And I was wondering if, as far as the customization goes, I guess I have to watch a few more tutorials on how to manage the interface. Once I switch my theme, can I revert it back to the original theme without compromising any of the graphics or the layout that was done previously?
Yeah, so I think I'm not going to do any changes here, but if you go to your design settings,
Right.
you should have a backup, so you can revert your design settings up to the last 10 saves that you did. So if
Okay.
you, yeah, and it will just revert your design settings exactly as they were at this day and time. So if you're playing
Exactly.
around with it and you're not, yeah, exactly, the images and everything. So if you're not happy with a recent change you did, but you did a bunch of changes, you could just refer to this backup option here and restore the backup.
Okay. Another question, and now my questions are coming out. So when people actually, let's say they do the leads, the lead generation feature, is there a way that they can do it automatically without me authorizing it, or even like the actual, sometimes they do the ratings, there's other things that people contribute to the websites. Do I always have to be in the middle? Like, do you always have to authenticate every action that the members do?
No, actually, most things you can just make it, everything is approved or the member does it. So what you may want is the automatic lead matching add-on. And
Right.
with this, if a visitor comes to the site and submits a lead, let's say they go to John Smith's profile, you can make rules for, we call that a direct lead. If you're on John Smith's profile, he's a pet care provider, and you
Right.
submit a lead, that's a direct lead to John Smith. There are settings on how John Smith can purchase or receive that lead. And then there are additional settings, other people who are in the same location, similar location radius, and are also pet care providers in this example, they can also get the lead and choose to purchase it if you want to allow for that to happen. So what's really cool about the automatic lead matching is when it's working, on all cylinders, visitors are coming to your site, a lead is created, 3, 4, 5 members are purchasing the same lead. That's kind of normal. Like I would say no more than 3, 4, 5 allowed purchases per lead. That's a setting you can choose. So if you're selling a lead for $10, you can make, up to 30, whatever it might be for your industry. You can make, $30 a lead, selling it to 3 people. And you can edit all the emails to set the right expectations, letting the members know that it's not a guarantee for a job, it's an opportunity for a job. You can let the visitor know that they may be contacted by up to 3 professionals for their request. So just editing some of those email templates. And the best way to experience it is make a sample member for yourself and submit a lead yourself and see the emails that are coming through the system. And then you can find them in the email templates area to modify them if you need to modify them. I think some of the default text in there works perfectly fine.
Yeah, because I noticed I feel like I was doing more admin work every time the members were trying to contact each other, or there was like an automatic lead that was generated. It's like I had to release it or approve it for it to go through. Am I mixing this up with something else, perhaps?
No. Do you want to check one of the settings on your site, and we could just make sure that it's set to automatically do everything? We can check one.
Sure. Yeah, we can do that. Okay. So let's check out my dentalbusinessdirectory.com.
I'm just going to check your lead settings and make sure that the automation options are enabled. So go to Manage Leads, and we'll go to, these are the auto match workflows, which are the different rules for your auto match settings. So you have one main action, that's fine, that's how they all start. You really don't need more unless you're doing different things for different membership levels. So when a member receives, so automatically match leads to qualified members, that's set to yes. So when a member receives a direct lead, a member should receive direct leads immediately, yes. Do you want it to be a preview or complete? Preview means it only shows them what the request is, not the email and phone number. Complete would show them their email and the phone number of the visitor. So if you want them to pay for the lead, most likely you want to set this to preview. So this is all set up correctly. If copy admin on the email, you probably don't need that. You probably get CC'd a lot. Indirect leads, when it's matching leads with members who also match the criteria, members should receive indirect leads. Yes, notification type preview. Everything is set up correctly here for you.
Okay, so it's set up, so I'm not missing anything on that end then. Okay.
Yeah, you're good. So basically, I would set members should receive direct leads immediately. Yes. Preview is generally what you'd want. And indirect leads, members should receive indirect leads. Yes. And then lastly, you want automatically matched leads on the first tab. Automatically match leads with qualified members. To qualified members, set that to yes. And the system will take care of everything. As leads come in, members will get notified via email. And even if you wanted to take it a step further, I believe there are SMS options here, third party, under additional notifications. You would need to pay for, I forgot what the solution is called off the top of my head, but this would send text notifications to members when they receive leads. So this gives more like so it takes it to the next level. It's a third-party provider, but this is if you start getting a lot of leads and want your members to get pinged on their cell phones, there's SMS options here.
That's excellent. Thank you so much. One more thing, I don't want to take up more time. Maybe perhaps I can watch another tutorial on this. How is the SEO integrated with the actual Brilliant Directories? Is it a good SEO platform? Do we have to do a lot of work on our end, or still Google has to kind of kick in and we have to do a lot of analytics there?
I personally oversaw all of the SEO that's built into the platform. So on a page level or on search results pages or on member profile pages, a lot of them are templates. So like your member search results pages, if it's search results for California or New York, yes, we wanted to say something, we wanted to say California or New York. But when you come into the SEO templates, you can really get very granular for the different the SEO. So for example, search results, when they're only searching a country, you can edit the SEO meta tags, and you can use variables such as country name, profession is the top level category, things like that. So we do have documentation on this, as well as social media sharing here as well. Yeah. And also, to take it a step further, when you're doing your web page builder, just create a new page. Just to make it easier for everyone, you can designate a specific H1 title and H2 title, as well as the SEO settings for an individual landing page that you are creating. But all the default pages out of the box, we've already established the main SEO, so there's no SEO missing. Even in all the images that display throughout your site, they all have alt tags that correspond to what the image represents. So really the only, you can get in there and do further customizations to the default SEO. It is encouraged to do that.
Would you suggest that I do that or leave it at default? Because so far my SEO has been great, especially when you do image search. It really does a thorough job on that.
You can always go in and squeeze in an extra keyword. Again, I don't know. You don't want to spam your keyword or the SEO a bit, but if it's performing well, it's good. The member profile pages, members can after a while can Google their name, and most of the time their Brilliant Directories the profile on your site will start showing up for their name. It just takes a little bit of time. But those are the kind of results we're seeing with the SEO in the platform.
Excellent. So there's nothing really to do extra on our end. It's already implemented with you guys doing a good job on the actual back end side.
Correct. I'd say so. You can always enhance further, but I'd say that what comes out of the box is pretty great.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate your help. You guys are doing a great job. Happy New Year, guys. You guys are awesome.
You too. All right. Good. Actually, great questions there. Let's see who else has their hand up. We actually learned a little bit there from him. All right. We got Rich. How you doing, Rich?
Yeah, it's Rich from Atlanta with the Podcasters Directory. Just one quick follow-up question to the member leads in those settings you were looking at. From what I'm seeing is it looks like when the member group receives a lead, they get I just give them basic information instead of the complete information, but it sends an email with the person's contact information, email and so forth. Is there a way that, they can just get a embedded, link to go right to that person's profile instead of being able to, contact them by email? Because it looks like the email that, I've seen that I get copied on as the admin, it has, here's Jason's and here's his emails. Just, it kind of bypasses them. Like when you get a LinkedIn, says, someone is connected with you on LinkedIn, it sends you to the LinkedIn member's profile, not to their email address.
Well, when a member purchases the lead or accepts the lead, the person who submitted the lead in the first place, the visitor, the consumer, we'll call them, they get an email saying you've been matched with so-and-so, right? To my knowledge, that email, I'm trying to think off the top of my head if it should or should not include the email address. You're saying you just want it to link to their profile page.
Yeah, the email template that I'm seeing, because I get copied as the admin, and it just says, here's Susan, here's Jason's information. And it just has your name and then your email as if to just bypass the whole website process. So
what I'd recommend doing is let's identify what that email is. Hang on, there's a few related to leads here. Lead visitor match. This is the email here. So this is the email that here is my contact information, and then it's filled in here, right? So I would email support, and this is the name of the email template. Now you bring up a really good point here. This is lead visitor match, and show them an example of, it's showing all this information. All I want it to do is not show this information, just provide a link to the member's profile page that they've been matched with.
Yeah, kind of like on LinkedIn, like when I send an invite to, hey, Jason, we want to connect on LinkedIn. LinkedIn says, hey, you got a new connection. Because
I totally get it. I'm with you. So I would email support. Challenge them with that question and see what they say. And if you want, start a discussion in Facebook, because I'm curious to see also. I don't think it would be too difficult to do that, and just include a link to the member's profile page, because I think it would be pretty straightforward actually, and this would be the email to edit. So you would just say, here is a link to my profile, and then put the link here and say, here's my contact information. So just email the support team. Show them what you're seeing, and then show them what you want it to be instead, which is just the link to the member's profile page, and they might have a direct answer there for you. And if you want to post that in the Facebook group also, we can follow the discussion until it's resolved for you.
Awesome. Appreciate it, man.
All right. Yeah.
I know you're almost out of time, so enjoying all the Wednesday webinars all year long. Look forward to 2021. You guys are doing an amazing job, and given especially our circumstances. But we had to pivot our business, and the Brilliant Directories was a godsend for us.
Awesome. No, definitely. We've had some fun on the webinars together, Rich. So happy New Year to you. And we'll definitely see you in 2021.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. All right, good stuff there from Rich. Yeah, looking forward to your question in the Facebook group. The next webinar, guys, is going to be January 20th, and the new tax and VAT manager add-on will be released also in January. Lots of good stuff coming down the line in January. If we didn't get a chance to answer your questions, please join us in the Facebook group. You can head on over to brilliantdirectories.com/Facebook. We can continue the conversations there. On behalf of myself and David and the entire Brilliant Directories family, thank you guys so much for an awesome and amazing 2020. We really made lemonade out of lemons this year. Do look forward to seeing you guys in the new year. And again, have a great day and a brilliant week. We'll catch you in the new year, guys. Bye-bye.